evening, everybody. This is WQIP827, and I am your net control for the evening. It is May 3rd, 2022. Before proceeding with the net, I'm going to check for stations with any emergency or priority traffic. Any such traffic, go ahead and call in now. Hearing none, if during the net there is any emergency or priority traffic, you are always free to break in at any time. The GMRS 1900 net is a directed net where we discuss matters relating to GMRS as well as various other topics. While a directed net is in operation, we ask that all radio traffic must go through net control. This net is normally conducted utilizing national travel tone of 141.3 hertz. All participants are also encouraged to use your radio's monitor mode during the net to ensure that you don't miss anyone transmitting on a different tone. The GMRS 1900 net website can be found at www.azgmrs.org. After check-ins are complete, we will pose our topic and we will ask for input. When you take your turn, we ask that you keep it short and to the point so that any questions or comments can be properly addressed by all. I also want to remind you that when you are through with the conversation, please clear with your assigned FCC call sign. Is there any emergency or priority traffic before we continue? This is WQIP827, hearing none. Tonight we are using our online pre-registration roster for the net. If you have pre-registered, you will not have to call in at this time. Just a brief description of what our pre-registration involves. There is a link on the website where you can pre-register. We will put your name on the roster, and from that point on, you will not have to check in with your radio. We will call you when your name shows up on the list, and you will remain on the list unless you miss 3 consecutive nets, at which point your name is removed and you'll get an email asking you to re-register. So right now I'm going to go ahead and take check-ins from the non-registered participants. Please check in one at a time, slowly, with your first name and call sign. You may start check-in now.
WRFP 808. This is Mark. Mike, can you check me in and out tonight, please?
All right, Mark, I've got you in and out. Any other non-registered check-ins? That gets us started a lot quicker. Thank you very much for everybody that's out there. And before I turn it over to WQZ645, I'm going to steal some of his thunder. I am excited to announce that flyers are going out and registration is now open for our annual Arizona GMRS Connection Fest 2022. Last year the event was essentially a club member day. Break for just a moment. This year, the event is slated for June 4th. Doors opening at 8 a.m., going to approximately 5 p.m. The event is open to any and all GMRS users. We're going to have socializing time in the morning, some mini presentations mid-morning. We're providing lunch. Afternoon is going to be filled with programming assistance, equipment raffles, more socializing. And outside, we're looking at having a truck and car show displaying user radio configurations in a myriad of formats.
Whiskey Romeo Papa Yankee 760. My name is Bubba.
And Facebook page for information and registration links and get your registration in as soon as possible. Now, before we get started tonight, I'm going to turn it over to our president, WQUZ645, and see if he has any other words of wisdom for us.
This is WQZ645. Thank you, Mike, and good evening to the net. Well, I don't have anything else to say now that you've said that, but that's not really true, though. We've got a couple other things coming up here. I am really excited about that, the Connection Fest coming up, though. That's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of stuff to do there. We've got a member get-together coming up on Saturday, May 21st at 11 a.m. That's going to be at Barrow's Pizza there on 67th Avenue south of the Loop 101. And we always have a great time there. Just bring your appetite and your interest in radios, and that's all you need. And on Saturday, June 11th at 11 a.m., that's our next member get-together there at Barrow's Pizza. In June, and then on Saturday, June 18th at 1 p.m., we've got our general and board meeting coming up. And that's about all I have for the moment. I will turn it back over to Net Control WQZ645.
All right, Gary, thank you very much. Yep, June's going to be a busy month, and we're going to start it off with a bang on June 4th. Anyway, the topic for the week is, when you have a question about GMRS or two-way radio in general, what is your favorite go-to resource for an answer? So let's start at the top of the list tonight. WRPI 759, Robert out in Apache Junction. You out there?
Yes, I am.
So, Robert, what is your favorite go-to source if you need an answer?
I mean, I've used YouTube. I've used Wikipedia. I mean, YouTube seems to be the best source for what's available, although you kind of have to read through a lot of the disinformation sometimes.
You know what, and that is a very good point, and that's just one of those learning things that you have to go through. You kind of have to weed out the people that have no clue as to what they're talking about and pick out the good stuff.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, this is my first net. I just got my membership at the end of last week, so I'm a new member basically, but majorly interested in enjoying the hobby. I've used a lot of radios off-road. I have friends that are hams, so it's kind of a opportunity to, I guess, have some fun here and meet new people. The WRPI 759 out.
Awesome, Robert. Well, welcome, and thank you for taking the time to join us. We hope to hear you back here again on next Tuesday. All right, let's move on to Dave out in Goodyear, WROA 381. Okay, we're going to go to WRPS 328. Don, you out there?
328 here. First time on the net tonight. So am I coming through okay?
Yep, Don, are you coming in on Zello or one of the other links?
That'd be on 700A. And as far as the resource for my information, YouTube University seems to work for me a lot. Like you said, we take a lot of the stuff with a grain of salt, but they still have a lot of good information. Learned a lot of good stuff on YouTube University. WRPS 328, clear and standing by.
Yep, Don, way to use that 700 repeater. You're coming in nice and clear. Thank you very much for joining us. Moving on, we're going north. Kendall, WRCU 835. You up there in Flagstaff tonight?
WRC 835. Can you repeat the question for me?
If you should have a question about GMRS or two-way radio in general that you don't know the answer for it, what is your favorite go-to resource for an answer?
I would say Google, and if Google doesn't have the answer in that, then I'll look on the forums, and WRC 835 will be fair monitoring.
Awesome. Yep, I'm a big Google user myself. Again, you have to kind of weed through the stuff that people really don't know what they're talking about and take out the good stuff, but I'm glad you mentioned the forums. Yep, I look at that every day, and great place to get some answers. Appreciate it, Kendall. Hope you're doing well up there. Bob, WRPW 729. Let's go to you. You out there? Well, then let's try WROP 208. Bill, out in Mesa.
Hey, all. Thanks for doing the net. Bill in Mesa, WROP 208. Interesting topic. I'll be listening to see if there's anything I'm missing, but I typically head over to the My GMRS forum or the AZGMRS forum, which I think was already mentioned. But YouTube and just regular old web searches are probably where I've found most of the information. Especially on YouTube, you end up finding the sources that are more reliable, and usually you're able to go back to those same ones for different questions you may have. At least that's how it's been working out for me. So that's what I do. WROP 208. Standing by.
Awesome, Bill. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's go to Goodyear. Ray, WRPH 209.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Good evening, the rest of the net. Hey, for sure my go-to is YouTube. I seem to have better luck finding things on YouTube than I can on the forum, so I've had real good luck on YouTube, and that's where I get most of my information. I'll send it back to Net Control, WRPH 209.
Awesome. Appreciate you joining us tonight. And, yeah, you know what? I'm actually looking for, waiting to see who, I've got a couple of answers in mind, and I'm just waiting to see who says it. Walker, WRPL 215. You out there? Let's go on to Bill, WRMR 257.
WRMR 257. Good evening, Mike in the net. Oh, I'll ask somebody that I know has been playing with it for a while. First off, and I do Google, also YouTube. Forums I look at and take it with a grain of salt. When I first got into playing around with ham a little bit, you get on some of the forums and a guy would ask a question, and before you knew it, 3 or 4 hams got on there with different opinions, and they started arguing back and forth, and the poor guy never got his question answered. But that's basically what I do. For the most part, I'd say I probably Google a lot of stuff, but I do ask questions too. WRMR 257. Thanks for taking the net, Mike.
Ding, 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 ding. Yep, you came up with one of the answers I was looking for, and hopefully somebody would bring up. With a group this large, pick up a telephone, and hopefully you know somebody that's helped you out before. That's what this group is all about. Make a phone call, find somebody that you can get the answers to reliably. Thank you very much for that. David, let's try you. WRJS 273. Okay, I heard him earlier. Let's see if Brian's out there tonight. WREZ 281.
I am here indeed. I was going to say a good place I go for resources. I just talked to you directly, Mike.
Oh, that is so nice. Hey, it definitely hurt. Good to hear you back on the net.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be back. So thank you for everybody else at WREZ.
All right, Brian, very, very thankful for that. Hope to hear you back on here every Tuesday. Let's go out to Brent, WQWZ 299.
WQWZ 299. Mike, thanks for taking the net. As far as looking for questions or answers, I've looked on YouTube, and like everybody else says, you got to kind of walk through the bowl. And most of the people I reach out to are in the club, either Chris, Gary, Tim, you. It's all out there, right at your fingertips. WQWZ 299.
Brent, thank you very much for that. And yep, that is the one thing I've experienced with this group as well. I can make one phone call, and if they don't know the answer, they're always good enough to put me back to somebody else that might have the answer. Appreciate it. Good stuff there. All right, let's go out to John, WRJI 326.
This is John, WRJI 326. I would say I use all of the methods that everyone else has mentioned. The one or two things I would add to that would be the manufacturers directly in their websites as well as the retail websites.
Which manufacturers might you be talking about? Because there's a couple of them that there's just no way to get an answer out of them.
Yeah, I don't have anything specific, but there's the various manufacturers or retail sites like Antenna Farm and so forth, where you can get some information from those.
Yep, I got to say that you mentioned Antenna Farm, and I've actually had some phone calls to that group, and yeah, they seem to be very responsive. Good thing. Glad you mentioned that one.
True, but ultimately it's all coming from the internet. I can think back 20, 30, 40 years ago how difficult it was getting information on anything. It was magazines, library, and people you know.
Well, hey, if it's on the internet, the information's got to be true.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, yeah, there's a lot of disinformation. So as you're reading through all of that, all the comments and information, yeah, it can be very tricky to really believe the correct one.
Amen to that. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
All righty, this is John, WRJI 326, back to net.
And this is WQIC 827 for ID. Let's try Bill, WROD 347.
Hey, good evening, Mike. Good evening, Nanette. I can't add much as far as resources. I've used every one of them that's been mentioned, including you, Mike. I appreciate it. The forums have been good. That's it for now. Thanks for running the net. WROD 347, clear.
Awesome, Bill. Good to hear you out there. Glad you were able to join us tonight. And yeah, I want to just do a shout out to some of our members that I see pretty regularly on our Facebook page. You guys do a real good job about jumping on some of those answers, and you're really good about passing it on to somebody else if you don't have the answer. So kudos to you guys. All right, let's go out to my next one is Rob in Surprise, WRNZ 382.
This is WRNZ 382, Rob in Surprise. Well, as far as my initial learning, most of it came from my brother-in-law, WRMK 636 Tom. But aside from that, it's just your basic internet searches, YouTube videos, forums, blogs, etc., etc.
Awesome, Rob. Yep, one thing I can say about Tom, he's always ready to give you an answer.
That is true. That's all I got for tonight. WRNZ 382, back to net.
Rob, you have a great night, and thank you for joining us. Okay, let's go out to Art, WROI 404.
This is Art, excuse me, WROI 404. Thank you so much, Mike. And I want to appreciate you especially because you're the #1 guy right now that I go to, and I appreciate your involvement and helpfulness at all times. Other than you right now, I also go to my two-way radios, which is some company fine. But those two sources is about all I have, and I just need to get more active, maybe get on the internet, Facebook, see what else I can get. I'm getting a lot of good information from members tonight. Give me some idea about other places to go.
Nope, I appreciate you, and I'm just blessed to be in that position where I've got some time. Yeah, love those breakfast and lunch meetings. That's just one of the things in a week that just makes my whole week when I can meet with somebody and pass on some information.
Fantastic. I'd be part of that too, even on the flying in start, WROI 404, standing by.
Awesome, Mark. Thank you for joining us tonight. And let's go to Gil, WRAP 438. Moving on, WQJV 492. Kevin, you out there?
I am indeed, Mike. Good to hear from you guys. Hey, first of all, for anyone participating in the Sunday 4 o'clock p.m. our time, Southwest Regional GMRS Net?
Probably about every other week. I at least listen. I haven't joined onto the net in a while, but it is interesting to listen to sometimes.
Okay, I asked. It was in here. It seemed like there was a failure of some sort. Trying to figure it out if it was the Tower 600 repeater or the link there, but it just wasn't working here in the Phoenix Valley. But anyways, I thought I'd ask that question. So sources of information. Well, everybody knows that if you don't want to waste your time, the only good source of GMRS information is not a Rubicon dude on YouTube. Anyone listen to that guy? He's actually fantastic.
Yeah, I do know who you're talking about, but yeah, I can only take him about one video at a time. Then I have to take a break.
Totally understand. You got to have a twisted sense of humor to listen to the man. Good information, though. A lot of information out there, a lot of different sources, but look forward to learning more as we go along from all the members of this club. So thanks. WKJV 492 out.
And Kevin, also to answer your question about the 600, I just talked to Matt, the owner of 600 this morning, actually, a couple times, and yes, they're having some issues. The repeaters going up and down. They were up on the mountain today looking at it, so they're trying to figure out what the deal is. But yes, it does have some issues, and they are aware of it and working on it. So, but in the meantime, you always, if you have access to Shaw Butte, the 725, you can actually get the net over there. Kevin, thank you. Moving on to Jeff, WPTT 519. All right, no Jeff. How about Keith? WRKJ 520.
WRKJ 520, calling you from Tempe this evening. Thanks for managing the net for us. I have three sources I go to. First place I go is to my AZGMRS members forum. Read through all the stuff there. I'm always learning something new from reading everybody else's posts. The other area that I go to, of course, is Facebook and look over what's going on there and try to keep up to speed. And finally, then I turn over.
Awesome, Mike. Thank you very much. Let's see if Jeff's out there. WQZZ533. Okay, did I cover somebody? All right, let's move on to Randy, WRDB 544. Let's try Larry, WRJK 563.
WRJK 563. I do a lot of snooping on the internet, and if I really need something and I can't find it, I go to the walking library named Mike. I am clear. WRJK 563.
Walk in. Oh yeah, you do walk in every once in a while. Anyway, hope to see you soon. Appreciate that. Let's go to Don, WROD 635.
Hello, Mike and the Net, Don here. I do the typical Google search, and you get your mygmrs.com forum answers, YouTube, radio reference. But there's one thing I had a hard time finding, and on the ham side, there was a thing called it was a tech net, and it was 3 guys just answering questions on a repeater in a net format, and I thought that was really cool. So I don't know if we have anything like that in the GMRS world. WRD 635.
Well, you know what? I do know that and I don't know exactly what day it is, the Southwest Regional Net, they do occasionally have a tech net, but maybe that's something we'll have to consider. Maybe we'll do it ourselves. Don, appreciate that. Sounds like a great idea. Let's move on to Tom, WRMK 636, the man with all the answers.
This is Tom, WRMK 636. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to add. Everybody's covered everything else pretty well.
All right, Tom. Well, it's always good to even hear you out there. You think you're going to make it to our Connection Fest this year?
Probably not. I'm still having mobility issues, and just getting out of the house is difficult.
Okay. Well, we're having it at a similar venue, so we could get you in there. So if you can make it, that would be great. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'd like to participate, but I think if you could do some way and have it participate via the internet like you've done with some of the meetings, that would also be good.
All right, Tom, let me think about that. Maybe the mini sessions, maybe we could stream those out. Appreciate it. And take care of yourself.
Hey, this is Tom, WRMK 636. I'll be clear.
Tom, have a great night. That brings us to Gary, WQUZ 645.
Well, this is WQZ 645, and I just go to the trio of knowledge, and that would be either Mike, Chris, or Tim. If one of those 3 don't know it, then it's just not knowable.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that.
Okay, back to net, WQZ 645.
Gary, as always, thanks for joining us. You're always out there. Let's go, Mr. Joshua out in Mesa, WRNB 665.
Howdy, everybody out there on the net. Yeah, everybody's covered about everything that I do. Head on over to YouTube. If it's not on the forum for our club, I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably just go ahead and call somebody. Great answers, everybody. Thanks for doing the net. WRNB 665 out here in Mesa. Back to net.
Yeah, it's a crazy world we live in, and it is amazing to me. I enjoy it. I enjoy picking up the phone and talking to somebody instead of trying to work through a problem with text or email. So it's amazing to me how an actual phone call has found its way to the wayside. Thanks, Joshua. Appreciate it. Bob, WRCM 701.
Good evening, Mike and the net. This is one of those situations where I almost feel bad because I feel like I have to toot my own horn. I've been doing this long enough. I don't have a lot of questions. I still do look up stuff on YouTube and the internet. I also have a lot of ARRL books. So I can always look up stuff at home here too. So WRCM 701 clear.
Oh man, Bob, you're dating yourself. A book? An actual paper book? You actually looked up something? That is awesome. Bob, thank you very much. Lou, are you out there tonight? WRKT 709. And let's try Randy, WRNS 717. I heard you out there earlier.
Yeah, this is Randy. I'm always out and about. This is WRNS 717. I've never heard of YouTube, so I usually pray to my radio gods, Little G, Michael Manning, and Tim Merva. With that, I have to split. I gotta get out of here. It's WRNS 717. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right, Randy. Yep, you've probably had too much to drink already. Yep, get out of that Kool-Aid, and I will see you in the morning for breakfast. Appreciate it. Let's go out to James out in Levine, WRNW 736. Let's do Corey, WRKM 737.
This is WRKM 737. Yes, a lot of my information, I will search, of course, on Google. I do have some groups in MeWe that have answered quite a few questions for me and helped me resolve some issues. I don't have Facebook. And then Kurt seems to have a lot of knowledge, so 766 helps me out from time to time. So this is 737, back to net.
All right, appreciate that. And that takes us to Kurt, WRKM 766. What do you say, Kurt?
Hey, this is Kurt, WRKM 766. Don't let Corey fool you. I get it from you, Mike, and then I give it to Corey. So it's kind of a daisy chain thing there. I think everybody's covered everything that I have. It's mostly you and Gary, and then forums, and then internet. So that's about it. WRKM 766, back to net.
Awesome, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see who's next. Rich, WRKJ 772, the man with all the answers, at least for scanners.
Good evening, good evening. Well, like I said, if I have a question about GMRS, it's probably going to go to you or Mike or Chris or maybe Tim. If it's any other radio thing, usually if I don't have the answer, it's usually going to be radio reference as far as I need to go to. WRKJ 772.
Awesome, Rich. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's go. Let's see. Next up is Tom, WRNX 788 out in Anthem. And this is WQYP 827 for ID. Next up, Attila, WQWL 795.
Good evening, Mike and the Net. Usually YouTube, or I like the mygmrs.com. That's the QWS 795.
Attila, short and to the point. Good to hear you out there. Let's go to Mark. Oh, no, Mark's in and out. Let's go to Bill, WQCA 890.
This is WQCA 890, Bill. You know what's so disappointing is being at the bottom of the list, and all the good answers have been taken. But I concur with everybody. There's a lot of resources out there, and you just got to pick and choose, make sure that the information you get is solid, but that's about it. Anyway, back to you, WQCA 890, back to the net.
All right, Bill, make a note. Get ready. I'm making a note right here on my pad. I'm going to start at the bottom of the list next week, so get those answers ready. All right, let's try Scott, WROT 462, also out in Anthem. And moving on, WQRV 903. Tim, what do you got for us tonight?
Well, good evening, Mike and the net. Mike, thanks for taking the net tonight. And what have I got for you? Well, I look at the FCC website a lot. There's a lot of questions that I don't know the exact answer to, so I end up reading parts of Part 95. I call Gary, sometimes you, sometimes Chris, sometimes Rich. And there's a couple of guys back at the very beginning, back in 2013, before this whole thing started, that were back in the Chicago area. Rich knows who they are. I can't remember their names. One's name is Randy. The other guy's name I can't remember. But there's three guys that were on the GMRS steering committee, and I reached out to them a few times. Also, I do use Radio Reference, mygmrs.com, and I have watched a few of those Not a Rubicon videos, but you have to take the accuracy of that with a grain of salt, too. WQRV 903, back to that.
Tim, thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us. And next up on my list, WRMV 920, London Tim. You've always got something wise to say.
Oh, I don't know how wise it's going to be. Good evening, Mike, and good evening to the net. Let's just do this. One station said that it being at the end of the list wasn't that great because everything else had been said. I take it the other way. I'm at the end of the list. I need something good. I'll do some research. So very quickly, I think instruction is good when it's entertaining. And so, of course, the Ham Radio 2.0 is a good guy. Secondhand Overland is a good guy. There's a young lady who I like a lot called Rhea, who does something called Rhea's Shack Ham Radio. Of course, Arizona GMRS Repeater Club. There's an amazingly skillful ham. If you're into antennas and you want to do something cool with antennas, there's a guy called Jim, W6LG, Fairpoint Farms or Farpoint Farms and so on. Oops. Anyway, very quickly, if I really want to know something, I call a trusted source, referred to as WQYP827. Thanks, Mike. WRM Victor 920. We're clear.
Tim, thank you very much for that. Always good to hear you out there. And yep, I'm a Matt Secondhand Overland fan myself. When I want a good laugh, his reviews are sometimes just phenomenal. Tim, thank you very much. Hey, you're sounding good out there tonight. All right, let's move on to WRFB 925. David, you out there tonight? All right, and Chris, WQWI 942. You there tonight?
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking the net, Mike. Yeah, it's always the Google, YouTube, and then going to you, Mike, Tim, Gary. Always find an answer for sure. Also want to mention that I took a trip up to the White Tanks on Saturday with Randy from Procom there, and I got some work done on our White Tanks repeater, a reset. So our programming computer had been down for a while for the repeater. I took a new computer up there, got that up and running, so now we can program visitor tones in, no problem. We got a new power supply for some of our linking hardware in that computer. Got some power relays added on so I can remote reset some items if need be. And we got our White Tanks camera back up, which, a reset. We are streaming live on YouTube with our net tonight with the live White Tanks camera. I've had a few people checking in, seeing them, our view count go up there. So don't forget to check out our YouTube and Twitter accounts and all that fun jazz stuff. Always some good stuff there. This is WQW I-942, back to net.
Chris, awesome, thank you, and I'm glad you brought that up because it reminded me of something that I desperately need to talk to you about, so I will call you right after the net is over because I need to get an answer on this. Appreciate it. Doug, WRDN 953, you out there?
Yeah, good evening, Mike, and everybody on the net. And yeah, if I can't find the information on the internet, I usually try to go to somebody that I've met that has a wealth of knowledge and pick their brains. So usually between the two, I can come up with the answers I need. WRDN 953, back to net.
Thank you, Doug. As always, I appreciate you joining us. Let's go out to James, WRBN 960. You out there? All right, let's see if Derek is out there. Unit 2, WRME 966. And maybe he's out playing soccer or something. Dean, you out there? WRME 966, Unit 1.
Good evening, Mike and Annette. Yeah, Derek is chasing softball or baseball somewhere. Between him and his sisters, he stays kind of busy. So, but as far as information goes, YouTube's been a big one. Another one I tend to rely on is listening to the radio. There's a lot of great questions get asked, and there's a lot of great people out there that provide the information needed. But it's been a big help. WRME 966, Dean over in Surprise. We'll go back to net.
Thank you, Dean. Totally understand that. Yeah, sometimes you get more out of listening than trying to join in. Appreciate you as well. Doug, let's go to you. You're the last on my list, WROU 993.
Mike, thanks so much for running the net tonight. And I would say I did take down volume 7 of my 1982 encyclopedia and tried to look up monitoring mode and couldn't find anything. So as normal, like you said, I'm trying to use the forum. I would encourage everybody to use the forum because I kind of went out there and saw some posts that seemed new, but they're from 2019. And found it good. But for monitoring mode, my question real quick would be, on my radio, I don't have a button for monitoring mode, but is that just setting my receive code to off so I can hear everybody?
Well, you apparently looked in the right encyclopedia for that answer. Yes, if you don't have a good monitor mode, and typically by good, I mean one that when you turn it on, it merely gets rid of the receive tone, but you don't blow a bunch of static through the speaker, that's what I would consider a good monitor mode. If you don't have one of those, it's just as easy to leave the receive tone off.
Copy that, and I appreciate it. And like I said, I went to the Barrows Pizza the last meeting, and to be honest with you guys, if you haven't done that, do that. It's not the best pizza in the world, but the company's pretty good. WROZ 993, back to the net.
Don't go for the pizza, just go for the people. Doug, appreciate it. All right, that brings us to the end of my list. I'm going to throw it out there for any later missed check-ins. Go ahead and chime in now.
299 net control.
Go ahead, Brent.
Just a traffic alert. Phoenix Fire's working a first alarm structure fire, 35th Avenue, 2400 South, WTWC 299.
All right, Brent, thank you for that. For those people that are on that area, beware. Any other later missed check-ins?
Whiskey Romeo Papa Yankee 760.
Bubba, I was wondering where in the world you were at.
Took me a while to find the right codes, I guess. But I'm here, and usually if I have trouble, everybody's already answered it, but I go to YouTube, and that guy at Rubicon, he is a little out there, but he seems like he's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah, that's why I said I love watching the videos, but I can only get one at a time. So I'm assuming did you get my email about the tones?
And I thank you very much, sir. And Whiskey Romeo Papa Yankee 760, we're clear.
Bubba, thank you much, and appreciate you joining us. Any other later missed check-ins before we conclude for the evening?
WRJF 513, Dave.
Yeah, there you are. We called you earlier, but there was no answer.
Yeah, I tried doing a check-in at the front end there, but I missed out. I use the club forums. I look in there. If I don't see an answer, I'll leave a question. Other than that, both you and Tim have done me a lot of good in learning this whole GMRS gig. Really appreciate you guys. WRJF 513, back to net.
Yep, and you were one of those that are on Facebook that I was throwing kudos out. I see your name quite often, and really appreciate your interaction with some of the people out there and your support of the organization. It's always good to see out there. Dave, thank you very much. Any other late or missed check-ins? Because I don't want to get long-winded and go past 8 o'clock tonight.
257 comment.
257, go right ahead.
GMRS 257, thank you, sir. Gary may already know this, 645, but I was out at Ham Radio Outlet today to drop off a radio for consignment. Got to talking to the guys, and it seems Gary's pretty popular. They absolutely love the morning and evening traffic reports. In fact, Ron, the manager, really, her ears perked up and jumped up. So when we started talking about GMRS, so kudos to Gary. He's got 3 fans there for sure. WRMR 257.
You know what? Thank you very much for that. And you know, I've been involved with this group for going on a little, well, actually over 5 years now. And that's one thing I really like hearing is there is no reason that GMRS should be in competition with ham. There just isn't. You know, they both have their uses, and yeah, I really enjoy hearing those comments. Appreciate that. Any other later missed check-ins?
No 3, recheck.
Go right ahead.
I was remiss in not stating the wealth of information that I have received over the past years, not only from 1980 to 1986, but from 2011 until current days, from Randy, WPRR 517. Wealth of information. He's forgotten more about every single radio topic than I've ever known. So, kudos to Randy.
Awesome, Tim. That's a very good point. Thank you very much for those comments.
Okay, WQRV 903, back to net.
Yeah, you can like him, but you can't take his call sign. Thank you very much, Tim. Any other late missed check-ins or comments? Kendall, go right ahead.
Hey, just let you guys know that Eldon and that is unresponsive just to local traffic. The only thing that's on for it.
Okay, what were you saying about Eldon?
That is unresponsive, and that's for the travel town, and the link is down. It's unresponsive. The only thing that's up at the moment is just local.
Okay, so are you talking about the Chris 575 repeater?
That'd be correct. WRTA 35 will be clear monitoring.
All right, Kendall, thank you much for that. I'll definitely pass on the information. Any other comments before we conclude?
903 comment.
Go ahead, 903.
Yeah, Eldon goes through Towers, and the link from Towers was down to the one hill in Mount Union, and so microwave link problem, I believe, is what's causing that.
Yeah, it might be related because I know they were up on, he was up on Crown King today working on an emergency issue up there.
Okay, WQRV 903, back to that.
Thank you, 903. Any other comments?
RFPI 759 comment.
All right, you came in there awfully quick. Was it 759?
Yeah, sorry, 759.
Hey, go right ahead.
So this was my my first net. It was a great experience, everybody. It's great to meet everyone, everybody talking. You know, I'll definitely be back next week. It's a great time. It's a good experience. Thank you, everyone. Back to net.
Well, thank you for that. And yep, that's one of the main purposes about the net is keep the topics fairly short. But what we really want you to do is get on that microphone and say something. That's what it's all about. Thank you very much for that. And I'm going to put one more call out there. Any comments or late check-ins? Awesome. Well, WQUZ 645, take note, it is actually 7:53. And I want to thank everybody who checked in tonight. At over 30, again, anytime over 30 is awesome. Hope to hear you all back here next week. Special thanks goes out to, as always, WPRR 517 for hosting the Phoenix High Power 550 repeater, as well as the Scottsdale 700. This is WQIP 827 Net Control, GMRS 1900 Net. Now returning the net to its normal operation. Everybody have a great week.
Good evening. This is Gary WQZ645, and I'll be your net control for the Arizona Emergency Services Group net. This net is conducted after the Tuesday night 1900 net concludes at 8 p.m. The Arizona Emergency Services Group, or AESG, is part of the Arizona GMRS Repeater Club. The volunteers in our group are a team of licensed GMRS operators. Many are also ham operators. We receive training and also conduct exercises to expand our skills. And those who are dual licensed have an extra tool in their radio toolbox. The purpose of this net is to perform a regular test of communications equipment, provide training in emergency procedures, and exchange information related to preparedness. All nets, whether for training, exercises, events, or incidents, are directed nets. If you're interested in joining our group, just send us an email, esg@azgmrs.org. Any station may break in at any time with emergency or priority traffic. Is there any such traffic at this time? And hearing that, we'll go ahead and continue with the net. Those who have already checked in online don't have to check in over the air. Any station that has not checked in online can check in now. Please check into the net with your name and call sign. Okay, real good. We'll go ahead and get started then. We did send out an email to ESG members about the topics for the net tonight, and there's some information that's an attachment there about what we'll be covering tonight. So if you can, you might want to go ahead and open that up there and take a look at it. And the first topic we want to talk about tonight is going to be being ready to evacuate and what needs to be done there. And of course, this year we've started out with the wildfire season. We've already had several pretty serious wildfires and situations where residents in the area had to evacuate and homes were destroyed and this type of thing up in Coconino County as well as Yavapai County. And it's no joke when you have that situation where somebody knocks on the door and you've got about, they tell you got 15 minutes to get your stuff and get out of there because a wildfire is heading your way. So it's something to be ready for. So the question for the net tonight is name one of 5 different things you can do to be ready to evacuate on a moment's notice. Again, that's name one of 5 things you can do to be ready to evacuate on a moment's notice. So we'll be talking about those things that are necessary to be ready for an evacuation and to be ready to take off. And then also one of the topics tonight, we'll be talking about CNET, the Community Emergency Net, what it's all about, and about the exercise coming up on Saturday, July 23rd. This is WQZ645 Net Control. And we will start right up at the top of the roster here with Chris, 942. You out there, Chris?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Did you have an answer for us on that question?
I'm sorry. I was replying on a text message to a member. What was the question again?
The question is, name one of 5 different things you can do to be ready to be evacuated on a moment's notice.
You can assemble an emergency supplies go kit. WQW 942.
Okay, very good answer. So get a go kit put together and have it ready. And that's a very important thing to have ready to go. And of course, if it's not already set up, if it's not ready to go, and if someone is just saying, well, I meant to do that, but I'll get to it later, then that doesn't really help out very much. So that is a good answer. Appreciate that one there, Chris. And then let's go to 827, Mike. You out there?
Yep, I'm here. So I would say actually have a plan. Have a plan ahead of time and keep a full tank of gas. WQYP 827.
Okay, Mike. Another very good answer. Have a plan for evacuation. Know the different routes you can take, and have that gas tank at least half full as a minimum, and make that into a habit so that that keeps it ready to go. Okay, very good. Let's go over to Attila, 795.
Good evening, Gary. I would say that keep ready for my documents, on a copy of my documents and some cash. WQWS 795.
Okay, very good, Attila. So that's another good couple of things to keep ready to go, just in case you need them, because you never know in that kind of a situation if you're going to need to have those documentations with you. So that's a good answer. Let's go over to Tim, 903. Tim, you out there?
Well, I would say have your weapon and lots of ammo, as well as what everybody else mentioned, your go kit and your radio go kit, and extra batteries, and, you know, the necessities, TP, etc. WQRV down 3, back to that.
That is a very good answer. You got to have that protection, your personal protection, your radio communications, and can't forget that TP, because we know what happened in 2020. We had a serious problem there because nobody thought to get that taken care of. So very good answer. And then let's go down to Dean 966. You out there, Dean? Okay, let's try Keith 520.
Hi, this is Keith 520. Sorry, I was just able to swing onto the net. What was the question, please?
Sure, the question was, name one of 5 things you can do to be ready to evacuate on a moment's notice.
Well, one thing that you can do is have your ops plans, have your family prepared so that if you have to evacuate, everybody's aware of what they should be doing and when they should be doing it. And then follow your plan.
Okay, very good answer. Have a plan, evacuation plan, and everything ready to go.
WRKJ 520, back to the net.
Okay, thanks for that, Keith, and let's go over to Kurt 766.
Hi, 766 here, Kurt. I would make sure that I have a contact list of people so that I can notify when I evacuate and when I should contact them to ensure that I actually make it out. Being from Colorado, I've been in some situations where you have alternate routes and you can't get out of any of them, and you've got to get creative. So I would have a contact list to confirm I'm out. 766, back to net.
Okay, very good. Another good answer right there. Have a contact list and have people in town, people out of town to contact and make them aware of what's going on, and then you can let them know if you get out of there. Good answer there. Let's go down to just see if David is out there. David 925. Okay, let's try Brent 299.
WWV 299. Thanks for taking the net, Gary. One thing that I have on hand, and I don't think I've heard anybody else mention it, is water. Enough liquid for at least your immediate family. And that way you're not left in the dark. WTWZ 299.
Okay, very good. And that is definitely something that you've got to have in a go kit. You've got to have water for every member of the family there. So that's a good answer as well. This is WQZ645 Net Control. Are there any stations that want to go ahead and check into the net tonight that haven't done so?
281.
Okay, 281, we got you checked in. Did you have an answer for our question tonight?
I would say keep up to date with the local news. That would include have your GMRS radio so you can listen to the emergency services. WREZ 281.
Okay, very good. That's a good answer as well. Keep updated on exactly what's going on in the area, and then you won't be taken by surprise. You'll be aware of what's happening. So that's a good answer there as well. Any other stations that want to check in?
WREZ 835.
Okay, Kendall, we got you checked in. Did you have an answer for us as well?
I got a couple answers, and have your go bag ready, have enough water and food, and have a rendezvous point for you, and have communications, and that, like all your radios and batteries and accessories that you'll need.
Okay, very good. So that kind of covers several things there. Good answer.
WREZ 835, that's Net Control.
Okay, did we have any other stations that wanted to check in? Okay, very good. This is WQZ645 Net Control, and we've got a lot of good answers tonight on that. Covered several different things that need to be covered. Have a evacuation plan, communications equipment, communications plan, got to have that go kit ready. And we want to talk quickly about the RSG plan for Arizona. That's Ready, Set, Go that Arizona has come up with, and it's been approved by the Arizona Sheriff's Association for all hazard evacuation notices. So they have three different levels. One is going to be ready, and that's your preparedness state where you assemble all your go kits and your papers and prescriptions and personal needs and priceless items that you would want to take with you and to get out of your home just in case you needed to get out of there really quickly. And also make sure that you are aware of what's going on and you will be notified. So sign up with whatever your local emergency notification system is. Maricopa County Emergency Management has an app for that, so you can check on that and download that and keep advised of what's going on. And of course, if there's a serious problem or evacuation that we become aware of with the ESG, we put it right out on the radio and let everybody know with a wonderful screeching tone that is meant to get people's attention. So the first level is ready, which basically means you're prepared level. And the next level is the set level. That is to be alert because you could be required to evacuate at any time, and you need to have that go kit right there by the door or already in your vehicle ready to go. Have all that communications equipment standing by. And then the next level that they have is the go level, which is the actual evacuation notice. And that means that there's an immediate threat in the area, and you need to evacuate the area to whatever your location is that you're going to be going to. If you decided in your evacuation plan you're going to go to a certain rendezvous point or a certain location, or maybe to a shelter, then that's when you would go at that point in time. So that's basically what the ready, set, go evacuation notices, or all hazard evacuation notices for Arizona are. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about tonight is CNET, of course, which is stands for Community Emergency Net, and what that is all about. And this is an idea of a community emergency hub that's set up that would be used if certain areas lose normal infrastructure, the cell phones are not working, or if an entire area has that problem and everything goes dark. To be able to communicate via radio and get emergency information in both directions, but also get emergency calls for assistance relayed through various monitoring points, even if repeaters are not working, and get them relayed into an EOC or a PSAP, a 911 center, and get those calls through. So that's what CNET is all about. And just the last couple days, I've been emailing somebody up in the Payson area that is very interested in this concept. He has his community set up there and wants to get things ready to go in the event of a problem. So I'm going to help him out as much as possible. So when we have our CNET exercise on July 23rd, and I certainly hope everybody will be able to get involved with that, we'll send out more information by email and let you know about it. We make sure that we can relay calls. We do simulated emergency calls, relay them to certain monitoring points up to net control, which is on South Mountain, and then it's relayed to the Phoenix ELC. And the Phoenix ELC, of course, is in the same building as the Phoenix Fire Department Regional Dispatch Center, which is a secondary PSAP. You can notify them of any emergency traffic. So that's basically how it works. It is set up to be flexible. If repeaters are working, then repeaters can be used. If they're not working, then we can use simplex. And as part of the exercise, we transmit a signal on simplex and send it all the way over from the west side of the county over to the east side of the county, then back over to the west side again, and confirm that the information that was sent was also received back correctly. And then we do the simulated emergency calls where we have people call in to the monitoring points at various elevated locations. We have one up on South Mountain. We have one over by White Tanks and one over on the east side there, usually around Usury Park and various other locations, one up in North Phoenix, and simulated emergency callers call into them, then they relay it up to net control up on South Mountain. And that is basically how the exercise will work coming up on Saturday, July 23rd. So make sure that you mark that on your calendar. It's going to be 10 a.m. And the exercise always works out well. And the more people we can get, the better we can show that the functionality of the plan works. And it involves GMRS operators and ham operators in that exercise. So it works out really well. This is WQZ 645 Net Control. Any questions or comments from the net about either one of these subjects, either the evacuation notices or CNET? Okay, very good. Just wondered if there are any stations out there that are pretty sure you can be involved in the exercise coming up in July. Let me just go down the list here real quick. What about Chris 942?
Yes, sir. I plan on being there. WQW 942.
Okay, real good. Well, we usually have you in that. 27. What do you think?
Yep, I'll probably be with Chris up at White Tank's library.
Okay, sounds good. Tell us 795. What do you think?
I will be there, but I think I want to be mobile.
Okay, well, we can set that up too. Last time I think you were up on South Mountain, but we can set you up as a mobile station calling in and a simulated emergency caller or something like that.
Sir, WQWS 795.
And 903 Tim, what do you think?
I'm sorry, I was multitasking and I did not catch the date. It's July something, was it?
It's Saturday, July 23rd.
As far as I know, that date is open, so I should be there, but I need to check my wife's calendar, but it looks like at this moment it's a clear for me. So yes, and I would like to be someplace high up.
Okay, sounds good. We will get you set up and make sure to mark that on your calendar so you are ready to go. And then let's go to 281, Brian.
I put it on my calendar, but I'll have to check in closer to the event.
Okay, sounds good. Hope to see you out there. And then let's see here. Let's go over to Keith 520.
Yeah, this is Keith 520, and this sounds like a great time. I can't wait to share this with my friends on the Maricopa County Preparedness Team, and I know that there's a bunch of them that will want to come and be active in that as well. WRKJ 520, standing by.
Okay, sounds good. We will be happy to have them and get them involved, and just keep an eye out for that email we'll be sending out sometime before the exercise and give you a lot more information. How about 766 Kurt?
766 Kurt? Yes, definitely. I would be interested in doing that. 766, back to net.
Okay, sounds good. And that's go over to Brent, 299.
Yep, you can sign me up. WQWZ 299.
Okay, sounds good. And I think we covered everybody. except for 835 up there in Flagstaff, and heck, we will even let you be involved if you want to. How about that?
I would appreciate that if I could participate in flags match, because travel time and that by the time I get down there, and that you guys would pretty much be rolling through it already.
Well, yeah, we can just have you call in from flag up there if you want.
Yeah, you do that. WRTA 35 SU, that control.
Okay, very good. Well, before we close it up tonight, any other questions or comments for the net tonight? Okay, sounds good. Well, we appreciate everybody that checked into both nets tonight. We have the 1900 net. We had about 35 check-in, which is doing really good on the check-in, so appreciate that. This is WQZ 645. We're going to go ahead and return the repeater back to normal operations.